And welcome to another edition of Unexplained Cases Live. You've got Rick Garner, Darren, Dedo, Maryam the Medium, and joining us special tonight, Intuitive April. Welcome.
Love that name.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, great to see you.
You know,
I'm so happy to be here.
We have been kind of following and communicating and all kind of good
Guess
stuff.
what? I've been sending out vibes to you like, please have me on your show. Please have me on your show.
But see, I'm a little dense, so and Maryam will validate that. It takes a while.
Look at me. Look at me.
Hey, listen, in everyone else's defense, I should have picked up on that, okay? So we can't.
Yeah, what were you doing? Come on.
Come
I
on.
don't know, but
You had one job.
That's right.
right before this, I was like, April was just reading Darren's house, and I was like, I wanted to jump in there with her. I've never experienced, except for last weekend, me and Angela were talking about that demon child, and that was the first time like me and another psychic had been like eye to eye. But just April was just in Darren's house, and I was right there with her. That's why I was like, what are you feeling? Because I'm feeling this too. And then Rick cut us off and was like, we have to go live.
Yeah.
But Maryam, I have such a connection with you from the moment that I saw you. I said, I love her. I like her energy, and I feel connected to her. You know, so it was nice. You were like, yeah.
As soon as you started reading Darren, it's going to be a little fast and I'll shut up. I'm sorry. But as soon as you started
reading
Darren,
you already said I've already got spirits in my house. It's okay. Talk amongst yourselves. It's fine. I'll just sit here.
As soon
the floor is yours.
Reading, I just jumped right in, and I felt like I was right next to you. And I'm like, I felt this. It's funny that you say that because when you were like, "Is there a beam or something in your house?" And then I jumped right in, and I felt like I lost sisters or something. I just felt this immediate camaraderie, and I was like, I do too. Like, yeah, what are you feeling? Like, it was such a trip.
Yes, like the little girl coming for the other child.
Yeah,
they're not going to leave each other. Like this one came back for this child.
Whoa, this is heavy. This is a lot to take. Hell, we're only 2 minutes into the show too.
I know,
and they're a little lost now, because the other one came out of where she was.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying, in different realms, and they're kind of lost now, but happy to be together.
I was going to say it's kind of sad, but I guess that's nice that they're with each other then.
Yeah, we can send them to where they got to go.
Okay.
Cool. Though, what's tripping me out is the beam that you mentioned because April said, "Is there a beam in your house?" And Darren said, "No, but I'm feeling the same thing." And I know that your house is new, Darren, right? So could it?
15 years ish.
Yeah. Not like an old haunted house from the 20s or something.
Oh no. This is a subdivision in the middle of Arizona. No.
That's why I'm wondering if we're picking up on the house that was there before you or something, because I feel the same thing she's feeling.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Old West.
Yeah.
Wood, that kind of thing.
An issue. No, I've seen houses with exposed beams.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I almost feel like there was an issue with the roof too.
Yeah, I'm feeling something up there too. Like and it even extends to like there was an addict or something that was going on up there. So it must have been the house that was there before you at some point, because we're both in it. So there you go. Wow. There's your show for the night.
I got chills.
Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm scared.
Okay.
That was great. That was the best way to open the show ever. I just inserted myself in there, and then they, helped me out.
Well, now at this point, it feels kind of strange, but maybe it's a natural segue, Mr. Dedo, to do your thing and interrogate while Maryam and I will step into the green room for a little bit. But
I feel like April and I go way back, though. I mean, this is this connection going on here. I like it.
I know. I've been feeling you guys for a long time.
Well, it's awesome that you're here. I was looking in your bio. Okay, so you're a psychic medium, obviously, a shaman, and you're also a ghost hunter. How does that all work together? I'm just curious. I mean, those abilities, my goodness.
Well, with the ghost hunting, that started, it's funny because, when I came out, I'm a psychic medium, people started contacting me. I have issues at my home. We think the house is haunted. So here I am going around and clearing the homes, telling them what's going on. and them validating what I'm seeing. And I was able to 99% of the time to remove the spirit. So now I'm kind of looking online and I'm seeing these paranormal groups and I'm like, what am I, an idiot? I should bring people with me, because what if something happens to me?
Right. You need some help, some backup.
I joined a group, so I'm like, I need help. So now I go out all over with different groups, and I'm hired to go to famous haunted locations, and I actually do gallery readings, and I lead investigations, and I go out with my friends too, like on other paranormal investigators.
Speaking of your friends, what do they think? They're like, do they ever go, oh my gosh, I hope she doesn't know something about me? Is she reading my mind? Do they ever give you one of those looks like, what do you know? What are you thinking? I mean, what's that like, with your background, with your friends and your family, how do they react to your abilities?
Well, I guess some people think I'm constantly on and I'm constantly reading. I'm like, no, I'm a goofball. Like, I want to have fun. I'm a regular person. But, when I hone into something, but my friends, of course, you always come to me with stuff and I'll give them information, or I can go into my trance-like state and start, spoon off stuff like I do when I go into investigations. What I actually do, I do what Maryam does. I do remote viewing, and I don't do it on purpose. They'll tell me, all right, we're going to say upstate New York. I said, all right, and as soon as they tell me the address, I am there. I'm telling them what I pick up. Like, this is the first time I went to the Hinsdale house, that crazy place. I've never heard of it. Mind you, I only came out 3 years ago out of the broom closet. So I was raising my daughter, so I was a mom.
Sure,
hence the housewife. So Hinsdale house was one of the first places. And I remember picking up and telling them, oh my God, I was brought there to the backyard. Now I'm seeing the house. I've never seen this house before. And I could see there was thousands of Indians and an Indian chief on the land, on the property line. They wouldn't cross the property because he's telling me it's tainted, to be careful. But they had my back. I love it.
Yes, look at that. That's got you already. That's very cool.
Thank you.
What, speaking of, ghost hunting, paranormal shows, you've worked with some pretty famous investigators. You did the Holzer Files, didn't you? Was that last? Yeah. What was that like? I mean, here's a huge production company doing an investigation with some famous people. I mean, I'm very envious. Just tell me what that experience. I mean, what was it like to be involved in that?
This is the first season. This is before it aired.
Yes, okay.
So I have a producer contact me and said, and it was at the Lambert Castle here in New Jersey, which I've never been. I never even heard of it. So as soon as I get on the phone with the producer, and they're like, have you ever been to Lambert Castle? I'm like, no, but I can tell you what I see. So I start telling them that I'm seeing a lady in white. And I said, I know people are seeing her. And explain how she goes to meet this man, and the man disappears, and she's looking for the man. So this is what she's doing. She's looking for her husband or her lover. And so now fast forward, I said, listen, let me go there and I'll tell you what I pick up. I go there, but it had already closed. So it's 4:00. The place goes. So I'm walking around the property. I'm seeing this woman. She was outside, actually. I see her come from behind a tree, and the man is up against this stone wall, this high stone wall. And she walks towards him, but he disappears. And she's like, where did he go? And then she disappears. Whoa. So I'm at Lambert Castle. I'm walking around. And I'm like, holy cow, I just found the tree and the stone wall that's around the castle.
Wow. Sort of like that aha moment, right? I mean, that really, you connect the dots that, oh my gosh, this is what how do you, I mean, does something trigger, when you remote view? Did you pick up on something? Is there, or do you, what kind of a mindset do you put yourself in to actually be able to do that? Oh, you don't?
I don't. I don't have a ritual. I just, as soon as you tell me, I go there. My mind it's like I'm automatic. I'm there. Like when I went to Lambert Castle, after I found the spot, all of a sudden I heard a woman crying.
Oh my!
And goodness. I'm like, and I said, oh my God, I am brought into the bedroom with this woman now, like remotely, and I'm sitting there, and there's an older woman crying, and I'm saying, oh my God, she lost a child, but it's an older woman. She has black dress on, her hair back in a bun.
Like the 1800s, that time period. Yeah.
Well, she looks up at me and she goes, I'm not who they think I am. And I said, okay. I said, I got you. And the story kind of changes with the Holzer Files. But I know she was telling me, I think everyone thought that Mrs. Lambert was the woman in white. It was her daughter, Isabel. That's another thing. When I went there to film, now fast forward, I'm filming and I'm going up the stairs, first time in the castle. They're leading me up the stairs to go meet David Schrader. And as I'm turning the corner, there's a picture there. And I go, oh, I grabbed the producer. I'm like, holy crap. He goes, what? I said, that's the woman in white.
Whoa.
It was Isabella Lambert, the daughter, in the white wedding dress.
So how many times have you had something like that happen? I mean, that's just, I mean, to me, I would get, my hair would stand up on my arm.
Every case that I do that I go on, that'll happen.
You can, what about, I mean, I believe what you're doing. This is fascinating. But what about the other folks that are like, I don't know if I'm really buying into this. It could be.
I get it.
How do you respond to that? How do you change minds or turn skeptics into believers?
Well, I got to tell you, my reputation speaks for itself, and my people that I've read or I've been with on investigations will tell you, I don't try to change people's minds. I totally get it. I'm a skeptic too, because I've seen some, hokey stuff, and I'm like, I do the big eye roll.
Which really gives your I'd say profession a bad name. You know what I mean? It's those bad apples out there.
I've met a few, and and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well,
You're like, yeah, right,
yeah. And you know what? I gotta tell you, I'm not spiritual, and I say you don't have to be spiritual to be psychic. Like you're just psychic. You're born with it, or you're not.
Right.
Some of these people that are, I don't know. It is healthy to meditate. I try to meditate. Take care of my body and everything. But you don't have to do all these spiritual things to be psychic.
It's interesting.
You either got it or you don't.
You just have to listen. Okay. Holzer Files is great.
Oh, I loved it.
Did you do some work with the Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What was that like? And I want to hear some gossip. Come on, stuff that we don't get to see.
I cannot speak about, but I know my very close friend, Kim D, she's the agitator.
Right.
Yeah. So we're very close friends. So I read her weekly.
Right.
So, Kim D will always speak her mind. So she's very forward. She doesn't hold back, but it's a lot of fun reading these women, but some I'm sworn to secrecy. Kim D doesn't care. No.
Right. So what we're seeing, I mean, I know you can't say too much, but I mean, it's pretty close to what they're really, how they interact with each other, their relationships, for, New Jersey. Like I said, I live out here in the Southwest. I'm in Phoenix. So I always wonder, it's like, are people really like that in New Jersey? So are they playing it up, or is that, that's how they relate to each other?
That's how we are. We're like, I think even if you're not Italian, we're all Italian here. I'm Sicilian. We all talk like that. We're very tough, very aggressive. We say it like it is, but we make up.
It's just a lot of very, very passionate. Well, you grew up in New Jersey, and of course, for our remote viewing tonight with Maryam, this is kind of a unique situation. You both have abilities, and I guess you could say that you guys are going to work together to learn more about the place you grew up. And we just touched on it before we came on the air tonight. But you grew up in a haunted house. How did you know? Was there something that you saw a ghost at the foot of your bed, or how did you finally?
No, I'm 4 years old. 4 years old. My father had just died 2 years prior.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he showed up at the foot of my bed, and I started screaming, "Daddy's here! Daddy's here!" And I don't remember this. My sister tells me this, but I know after that experience, I had every spirit from a 50-mile radius come to me, and a lot of them were not nice.
Ooh. So
now I'm starting to be tormented. I'm being pushed. I'm being grabbed. We're hearing voices. They started mimicking my mother's name to make, and I'm almost in a trance-like state, like as I do psychically. And I would walk to go find my mom in the pitch black, and I would wake up just in time. I was at the foot of the stairs. They were trying to hurt me. They wanted me to fall down the stairs. When that did not work, they started going into my dreams and making me see that I could fly down the stairs.
And you're 4 years old.
Well, now I'm older. We're fast forwarding. This is
okay.
with my dad, like when I first experience.
Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, that's so scary. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but it was real life for you.
I'm a little bit older. I'm still a child, but I'm dreaming I could fly. They're making me think I could fly. And so I'm like, oh, I could fly down the stairs. But my mom had just caught me before I did it. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can fly. I could fly down the stairs, you know? So it was crazy. Then I realized as I got older, they sometimes when they were still following me and like trying to get into my dreams, but I combated them and, you know.
Right.
I got to tell you, this is I've said this story a lot of times, but I hate talking about it because I was always afraid they would come back.
Right.
But now I'm older already. I'll take them on. I'm Sicilian housewife.
you want some of this? Yes. Yeah. Did it ever cross your mind? Why me? Why are these, you know, spirits coming to me? Why do I mean, it's fascinating, but at the same time, it would certainly make myself think like, God, what do they want from me? Why was I given this ability? Does that ever cross your mind? Like why I was chosen to be able to do this? I didn't
realize it at the time. I just, you know, you just don't realize it. It's like your new normal growing up because everyone's experiencing, but I'm seeing them. There was a lot of spirits. There was that were like I had this tall man in a gray suit with a hat that I would hear him walk, and I could feel him
creepy
right at the threshold of the door. But this is my brother's room because I stopped sleeping in that room. Nobody slept in that room. But for some reason, if I slept in my brother's room, this man could never cross that threshold. That was the only place I was safe.
Like a protection or, you know, some type of, like you said, a barrier.
Yeah. To this day, I don't know why, but they can get, it was once I left there, it was, you know, game on. We're getting her. But he would stare at me. And I would have like, the fear of God in me, my heart would pound, you know, and I was afraid to move. I'm afraid to tell him, you're afraid to tell your family because I don't want him to hurt them. And they must like, you know, letting me know they'll hurt my family. You know, I already lost my dad. My dad died, so I don't want anyone else, you know, to be hurt.
Of course.
So,
what would you hope to accomplish tonight? Do you want to find out who these individuals are, or?
Yeah, you know, because I never really, I tell the story, but I was always scared myself to like just experience because now this is me as a child. Like, you know, I think I might even cry tonight. You know, this is like therapy for me.
Right.
But this is where I realized that I had gifts to see, you know, people that are past and connect and know things. Hey, Rick.
Look at that. That was a great segue right into the remote viewing. Awesome. That's fascinating.
Here.
See, we just poof, and then here we are. However, not quite time for the remote viewing just yet, because we do have a little surprise before we get to that, basically. So we got to welcome back to the show Angela Boley, who is our artist.
Hi, how are you?
Angela.
I've seen you, Angela. You're fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
She is definitely fabulous.
Meet you.
I feel like I'm on that show. Remember that show from a long time ago? This is your life.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and meanwhile, you know, Darren and I, are you feeling a little outnumbered, dude? Basically, I mean, we're surrounded by basically psychic.
Not a lot of testosterone. I know exactly. Well, yes, not only that, but they can read our, you know, thoughts. They know who's right. Yes, it is very, very intimidating. I'm always jealous, though. I wish I had that. You know, we always talk about that, but I don't know nothing. I'm just a guy, you know. I'm just a guy talking to a microphone. Who's a ghost?
Hey, you fixed the toilet today.
Crazy. Yes.
You know,
what's that?
You fixed the toilet today, so
I did fix the toilet today.
You know,
you can do
that. Maryam, I always notice, this is my own study, and I've read this somewhere. Do you have any artistic abilities, even musically? Because most psychics, okay. Because most psychics and, you know, mediums have artistic ability, whether it's music or some type of art. Because I paint and I draw. So I'm like, I find it very interesting that most of us have some type of ability.
Yeah, and Angela is incredible. There's her ability right there.
Wow.
So So, April, this is your surprise, and I will step away so that Angela can explain what's up.
I said, whenever I reach out to people, I feel spirits around them remotely, and then I went ahead and paint their portraits. This is a spirit I was picking up around you, and she told me her name off the bat. I usually don't get names off the bat, but she kept saying her name. Her nickname was Dedo. And goes back to the 70s era. And there was a party with a group of friends. They were in a car. Car was in a bad accident. It flipped over and slid a few feet, where people were severely injured, and she was disabled from that accident. She had permanent injury. Wow. She had to live with quite a bit of pain, but she was very young at the time of the accident. But she is around you, and I asked her what role does she serve, and she says guide, and she's basically a kind of a smart aleck in the way that she talks, but she is teaching you to communicate in a very smart way, in a way that's very, I would say, to the point, very clear, but in a way that's also very witty, clever. And she sends you roses, and you see the roses. Yes. She really composed the painting. You know, she wanted me to put yellow all around her to show she's from light. Yes. And of course the roses. She sends you roses, pink roses specifically.
And blue, my favorite color. See, as
oh, cool,
nice.
Isn't that funny how we match?
You do, yeah.
And the red lipstick.
It is. Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
That's really good. She's like very specific. She's always right on.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So
absolutely
awesome.
Awesome work as always, Angela. So
really amazing.
Now, for the next part of this ride, while we're basically going along the roller coaster, Angela is going to be feverishly painting who she encounters in this location. So
okay. Oh, awesome. You know, I was getting nervous. I'm like, they're going to bring somebody from my past in from Little Fairy.
Well, you never know.
I was starting to sweat. I'm like,
you never know. All right. So, Angela, I'll put you in the green room, but we'll get started and see what you find out shortly then.
See you in a bit.
All right.
April, what's your mom's name?
Anna.
Is she still alive?
No.
Okay. All right. So, there's a lot of stuff going on in this house. The gentleman that you had, I'm sorry, Darren, why don't you set it up first? Sorry.
Well, this is we're in Little Ferry, New Jersey, which is outside of Hoboken. Is that right? Is this your house that you grew up in?
Yeah, it's not outside of Hoboken. It's close by, but Hoboken's
it's close.
Yeah.
Was 3 bedrooms, 2 bath? What?
You know, it's funny they added a bathroom. We needed that bathroom.
Because how many with your family? You mentioned a brother. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
So I have 4 sisters, 1 brother, and me, and we had 1 bathroom.
Oh my God. What was that like getting ready to go to school or church? What was that? That must have been like, get out of my way. It's my turn.
I would wake up early. So I'd be the first one in there.
So the first energy I want to talk about is the one that you referenced, the tall guy with the hat that would, when you would sleep in your brother's room, he couldn't cross that threshold.
Yeah.
He was connected to your brother. Actually, they were in a war together. They fought against each other. Your brother, I'm not sure yet on who killed whom, but one of them killed the other, obviously, and I can't. There's discrepancy on who did it. This gentleman's taking. This gentleman was a general.
Are we talking about Civil War, maybe?
He wasn't in the army. He financially supported the army, and when he's saying he didn't kill wow, it's something strange. So I'm gonna have to come back to this as far as who killed whom. But the reason why he couldn't cross the threshold with your brother was because of that relationship that they had and have. And there was like your brother has this without this like his karma or his I can't find a word for it. It's not karma, although your brother's karma with this gentleman is not finished being played out, but it's not to be played out in this lifetime. It's on hold. And so that's why this being was not allowed to come through or cross over. That was very much intentional. Your brother it's not time for your brother to deal with this energy, and you were able to see it. And this being he's not necessarily dark as much, he's just an a-hole. And he was coming to like settle things with your brother, but because that deed, that debt isn't to be paid yet, isn't to be addressed yet, even though your brother isn't aware, there's this subconscious block that exists, and this being can't deal or address the brother or anyone in the brother's family. Everyone is protected in that respect. And so that's why when you slept in there, he was not able to get to you. That was very deliberate. The flying down the stairs, being told that you could fly down the stairs, there's beings that were in this home that were they're like little, they're not children. They're like these beings that were in body, but a long time ago, and they haven't evolved. They've stayed stuck as these darker entities.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, and
Can I tell you about one of them? Because just to validate you.
Sure.
The one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I was facing the outside of the bed, like towards my closet. My doll was on the table, so I'm playing with my doll. I turned over, and in the middle of my bed was this little black thing.
Oh,
and
like a shadow figure type.
Yeah, but it was solid. And I always called it the statue, and it had two red eyes, and it told me it was going to get me, and it said 3 times, 3. And in my head, I said, no, you're not. And I ran, kept saying, I'm going to get you. I won't even say 3 times because I feel like the power of saying that 3 times.
Yeah.
Open up. So it said 3 times, and I ran down the stairs, and I never slept in that room again. Nobody ever did.
Yeah, that's interesting. And that makes a lot of sense because these two beings, they still reside in that home, and the reason why they haven't evolved is because they messed with people.
A-holes?
Sorry, say it again.
They're a-holes, like you said before.
Yes, they are. Yes. They didn't realize who you were and what you were capable of, which is part of their lack of evolution. A lot of, as you know, they aren't that smart. And a lot of dark energies are very smart. These guys aren't very smart. And so they didn't realize who they were up against. Once they realized who you were, there was this sense of backing off. The thing is, this home has those energies. It has this man that was connected to your brother. He's not still following your brother, but there's something about this home that's almost like a vortex is a heavy word, but we've seen this a lot of times where there's these locations that breed energies and beings that didn't necessarily come from there or live there, but they all kind of move through there, or they'll step into the space and see who they can mess with and get to. So these guys,
I feel like I activated them.
You feel like you what?
Activated them when I came into the house.
Yes.
Like they were laying dormant, and all of a sudden I woke up everyone.
Yeah. And it's because they're like, wow, she can see us, she can hear us. There's a lot of times that there were a lot of people in that home that were very unconscious to it, even Like there's like, I'm talking to this one being that's in there, and they're saying like, we could move like the chair in front of them and they wouldn't notice. Not necessarily your family, could be some of your family members, but other families that have lived there were very unconscious to it. So yeah, when you came in, there was definitely that waking up or activation of it. This property feels like it was built on top of something. It feels like something lived underneath there prior to it being built. I don't know if I want to go as far as cemetery, but something was done on that property that a lot of those homes are harboring some really dark beings, a lot of dark beings that haven't fully developed, that haven't evolved, that haven't grown, that are just staying there. I don't want to use the word stuck because they're choosing to stay there. So this property, especially at the top of the home, there's an attic. Yeah, is that what's on the very top there?
Those were the 2 bedrooms. Those were 2 bedrooms. My parents' bedroom and my bedroom that I shared with my sisters.
Okay.
Those 2 bedrooms in particular are highly active bedrooms.
Oh my God, yes.
Your mom, did your mom tune it out, or was she? Which one was she? I can't figure out which extreme she was on. Did she tune it out?
She tuned it out, but I always felt that she had some type of abilities.
Yeah,
It's just connected with me because actually, like when I was a kid, I was in a car accident, and she was at bingo, and she actually stood up and said, "I have to leave. Something happened to April." And
wow.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's what was my confusion with Mom, was like, Mom, you have these abilities, but I'm also feeling you block them out. And so there is this. She was what?
A practical type person.
Yes.
So it's.
And she even they're saying like even she was a perfect example of someone who would see furniture move and just ignore it. Just be like, okay. She wouldn't acknowledge it. She'd find a way to just boop, block it out. Not there. It didn't happen. So when you came in, when you were born, there was this kind of friction, kind of, I'm not sure what to do with this child. I'm not going to address all of this. She's going to address who she is, but I'm not going to do it in myself. And so there was this kind of this strange interaction when she first realized that you were this medium, that you had these abilities. There was this kind of like she knew, I have to let this be what it is, but it's not going to change me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to go down that road. That's just not what I'm going to do this time. My daughter wants to do it, so be it. But there's this kind of like tension or friction about it and around it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, makes sense.
So as far as this house goes, this house for you was more so about this setting the stage for who you are and what you're about. The fact this house was, I keep saying, it was built on top of something, and there's going to be the next family that moves into the house is not going to stay long because it's getting more active and more active as time passes. And
I think it went through a bunch of people already.
It did.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I was like, uh-oh, something happened.
Someone should be like this.
Does it need like a blessing, or that does something set these things free to make it safe? Would that help?
No, there's something about that land. There's something about that land there that is like I said, it's like there's like this portal type feeling right underneath this home in particular that is just ripe with activity, and you would have to like remove the entire section. Like, well,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the surrounding towns like have Indian names.
I was wondering about that. Yes.
Yeah, like the connecting town is Moonaki. What else is there? But it was all like it was farmland at one time. So these, like some of these houses weren't even built. So,
yeah, that makes sense. And what's Emily saying? And covers the blocks around their spiritual gangsters, not their territory. That's a good way to say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Emily. I agree with that.
I love Emily.
Your dad is here. Your dad is here, and he's been. Your dad stayed. Like he didn't. I mean, he crossed over. He's in light, obviously, but he's very much one of your guides, and very much with you right now. Been with you for a long time. Said that when he passed, it was part of the karmic connection for you two, for him to work as your spirit guide, not for him to be your father. That was, well, it's almost like he's saying that was never supposed to be the plan. I was always supposed to be your angel in angelic form. That house, he's saying the house was really busy and really, you got lost in the craziness of the home. And the only way for me to help guide you to understand who you are without losing faith in who you are, without thinking that you were crazy, was part of the plan, was for me to die, pass on, so that I can watch over and make sure that you're brought to where you need to be. You were brought to where you were supposed to be brought to. Sorry, I was trying to understand what he was saying there.
Was he protecting her though from these, whatever these beings were? I mean, that's why he was still there.
She was never. What's funny is he's like, she was never in harm's way, simply because she's so feisty. That this was really like, this is kind of like, he's saying like, it's kind of like a new boxer, like when he's learning how to box and they bring out like these younger, you know, and you're just like,
okay, ready for it.
Yeah, like you might get hit a couple times, but no one's taking you down. He said, my role has been one of guidance, so that she was not led down a path of misunderstanding, not led down a path of thinking she was someone, that there was something wrong with her. That was my role. Her feistiness takes care of itself. She doesn't need anybody. Like, she doesn't need anyone helping in that respect. But there is this deep-rooted, wow, they're saying almost like cursed, or this land is like cursed, and that's why all these beings like come here. There was someone put a curse on this land, and they wanted this land to only be surrounded by dark entities. They cursed the land. They said, if something happens, this land is going to be cursed, and no one will be able to reverse it. And that curse was placed 1860, and it was placed there because of there was a tribal of some sense, some sort of tribal war that wasn't like, there's like the rules of war were not followed. Someone cheated, and they said, that's it, the land is cursed. And there was always this understanding between the tribes that you don't curse other people. You don't, fair is fair, like you fight fair, okay? And someone didn't fight fair. And so the other, tribe cursed this land, and this land will forever be that way. There isn't anything you can do to clear it. You will have people continuing to pass through, but it was a schooling grounds for someone like you, because it's so active. But you were so astute and so aware of where not to go and what not to do, that you wouldn't realize at such a young age you were setting up boundaries for all the beings that were in there. By not going into one space, you were setting a boundary, by knowing that you...
No, I didn't mean, I'm sorry. I just found that because you were talking about 1860, so I tried to look up something real quick. You talked about the whole war thing and the general. It says the town played an important part in the revolution. It was used on November 20th, 1776 by a detachment of Washington's troops who were fleeing the advancing British Army. The troops marched up what is now Washington Avenue and Liberty Street into Hackensack to join other troops. Until the 1860s, Little Ferry was sparsely settled. So that talks about the whole farming thing. But You know, if there was an issue with some type of a battle and somebody was killed or something, it's interesting because it played a role in the Revolutionary War.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think that this what's fascinating to me is this curse that I'm being told that I can't touch. No one can address that curse. Like, not now. No, I don't know why, but not now. And so that property will always be that. And you lived in that. That doesn't mean that the people that live in that home are cursed, but they are experiencing beings that got caught in this property, beings that got caught, whether they were kind of beings that didn't want to pass over and were kind of floating around, like looking for stuff to do. I'm really dumbing it down. And they got caught in this property, and that there's the energy of a curse can feed and can ignite and can excite beings that are looking for that. You know, it's like people that are looking for trouble. Oh, cool, we found trouble. Well, as long as you were living there, this is the interesting part. As long as you were living there, you actually kept that home and that property, those beings, that curse, you actually kept it at its lowest frequency that it's ever been. Once you left, like poof, it popped open.
Kathy Ann had asked, what about people, I guess, in the other homes around there? Could they be experiencing? I'm curious if there are other homes next to the house having paranormal activity.
You know, I did ask the neighbors, and nobody was having any experiences.
Okay.
It's interesting.
But I think because I'm a medium, I'm not knowing it, and that's why I was picking it, because I've seen full apparitions. My stepfather owned this house. It was always in his family. And I actually saw his brother one night, like his brother that was killed in the war. I knew his name. I didn't know what he looked like, but I described him. He was actually in his paratrooper jacket when I saw him. He appeared to me. And it was spooky because full apparition guy and the bomber jacket, but his legs kind of disappeared when it got down to the ankles. Wow. And I'm a kid, so I'm like closing my eyes. I'm like, please go away. And I'm closing my eyes, and he's still there. Third time, he's still there. I close my eye, I open it, and he's gone. By the fourth time, I ran down the stairs. I'm like, there's a guy in my room in a bomber jacket.
What did your parents say when you said that?
My mom actually showed me, when I said the bomber jacket, she showed me a picture of my stepfather's brother, Rudolph. And I said, that's him.
Oh, wow. Good.
But I feel like he was kind of there to help me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That was like a schooling grounds for you. There was a lot going on there, but you were able to learn what you needed to learn and keep that cursed land kind of at bay so you could experience what you needed to experience. And yeah, he definitely was there to help manage some of the energy in that space, actually. It's just like this bustling city is what it is. The fact that the homes around don't experience it leads me back to what I opened with, which was there's people that are very unconscious, like there's stuff moving around in their homes and they are just oblivious to it, because your property in particular is the root, is the vortex of it, but it extended out. I think, like Emily said, she felt the same thing. Like it extended out around the block, or at least 3 to 4 homes out to the either side. So there's no way activity isn't happening. People just aren't conscious to it, and they're choosing to ignore it. Your home, that home in particular, gets the bulk of it, the worst of it. Do you have any questions or anything for your dad?
Well, I have 2 dads. So the reason for us moving there is because my real father passed away. He's the one that came to visit me at the new home after he died. And that's when all hell broke loose in that house after he visited me. I feel like he opened the vortex.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because once I saw him, then it was an everyday occurrence. There was a different spirit all the time, except for, the statue and the guy in the gray suit. And then the other ones were just like a nuisance to me.
Yeah.
But the powerful ones were the ones I speak about.
The ones that asked you to fly down the stairs. That's scary to me.
Yeah, those are not nice people.
That
They used
energy,
I was grabbed. Like I had welts on my back.
yeah.
Like,
I
sat in
can-
front of my.
Trying to get his full picture in here.
Could this be the
It could
gentleman in
be.
the house?
I can't remember what he looked like. Maryam, you can understand what I'm saying, and you too, Angela. I can see him. I could feel what he looked like, and he was very tall, very lanky, slender, in a gray suit. You know, the gray hat, and the eyes. It is the eyes, though. Those eyes I recognize.
Yeah, that
'Cause I didn't
feels
wanna
like
look-
who I saw too, though.
I did not want to look at him because he scared me so much.
Now, is this the one? I want to make sure we're on the same page. Is this the one that you went in your brother's room and you
Yes,
couldn't cross?
it didn't get to me.
Yeah, because that's who when I saw the picture, I was like, that's who that guy was. Yeah.
Those are the eyes, but I hated to look at him. Now I will kick his ass. Okay.
You want some of me?
Angela, what did he say to you?
He's a very German man. He even has a German accent. He is very, very German heritage. I get that he's a tough German man, kind of no-nonsense man, strictly a very businessman. He's very cold businessman. So his investment, I mean, anytime he saw an opportunity, even a war or something, it was an investment opportunity or an opportunity to make something of it. And I kind of felt like with the death there was an argument that your brother, there was some sort of argument taking place over supplies. And, men are getting hungry. Men need ammunition. They're getting low on ammunition. They need that. They need a shipment of it. And they need it fast. I see him going into a tent. There was a tent, and they have an argument. It gets heated between the two, and it's not one that shoot the other. It's like I just see a knife. One stabbed the other in the belly.
Oh.
The brother stabbed this man in the belly.
That makes sense.
You know what's
that
funny?
Feels right, yeah.
The past couple of days, I kept seeing myself getting stabbed in the stomach, but it wasn't me. The past couple of days, I kept thinking this is going to be my next case that I go on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun.
Crazy. Yeah, Angela, that makes a lot of sense because I couldn't piece that together at all. It was like, what is happening? And you just spelled it all out. That feels exactly like what I was feeling.
Yeah, he was in charge of the supplies, and basically he was the one that was financing the supplies to the army. There was going to be a lot of war, so he was going to be the one financing, getting those ammunition and everything, precious supplies that they need, especially ammunition, guns, even things like tents, cots, anything like that. And wherever they were stationed at, and I don't know where they were stationed, whether they were in New Jersey or where they were. It just seems like it was more northeast to me.
Any idea what the time period? Just out of curiosity.
Since there were tents, I'm going to say a very early time period. I would probably put that perhaps going back even before the Civil War, perhaps the Revolutionary War, that time frame. And
we used to find in our backyard, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we used to find those old milk bottles, but they were very old. Yeah, we used to dig them up all the time.
Oh, they were buried in the yard?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I became obsessed with like digging up my yard and finding stuff.
Well, I wonder if that obsession too with digging up the yard comes from knowing how much is on that property. meaning that that curse is buried there. So, I mean, I would not be shocked in the slightest if someone dug up bones or any bodies of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be bones at this point, obviously not bodies. But
you want to hear another weird thing I'm going to tell you? I just got to tell you this. And it was always like, I could never understand this. But coming down from the upstairs where the bedrooms were, coming down the stairs on the wall there, when I would hit it, it's hollow. So I'm like, what is behind here? Like, because it feels like something's behind it. So I went outside to look at the house. And for some reason, the house comes out in that one little section, like, I don't know if it's like 12 inches more. It's like it's weird.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that weird? Like,
yes.
There's treasure inside there.
I know. That's what I used to say to my mom. Let's break down this wall and see what is behind this wall. Not that it's going to be big. It's not going to be big. But it's hollow. I would always hit on that. I'm like, there's something behind here.
How old is that house?
Oh, it's old. When I was there, I remember them telling me it was like 150 years old.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, that's that 1860 time period.
Yeah.
Now, Emily keeps wondering about a messenger between tribes. So, don't know if that.
The dude with the hat wasn't. He's the dude with the hat's the guy that the brother had the incident with. So he's not a messenger. He's just
He's a businessman financier
who wants revenge because the brother killed him.
Yeah,
that's a pretty deep story, Lord.
Yeah,
it's funny how intricate. How intricate the story.
I love my brother.
I was picking up on it, and then Angela finished it. Like how even though it was a very specific, intricate story, everyone felt the same stuff. Like that's so funny when that happens. The intensity is real. Like the karma between those two is very much there, obviously.
I'm also getting impressions on the land where the house is that there is some sort of mass grave from an epidemic as well. Like,
oh wow,
like cholera, something like that.
Could totally see that. Yeah, I felt like it was buried on like a cemetery or something. But maybe, maybe it was never considered a cemetery. Maybe just people buried bodies there.
Yeah, could very well be because not there, but there was a lot of farmland coming into Little Ferry. It was in Moonachie, so I could just imagine and now it's all built up with buildings and everything, and more industrial. But this is all farmland growing up. The milk bottles is what's delivered, carried, etc. I don't know. They were very old. They're very old. They're not like the regular in 1950s milk bottles.
Right. Where they would leave them on your front porch.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all.
Huh. Interesting. Maybe with some kids. I don't know. Maybe there's something more to it. It's fascinating.
I still had them.
Wow. Well, Angela, awesome work as always.
Yes.
We've been scrolling along the bottom for the easiest way for people to get a hold of you would be to slide over to your Facebook page.
I know.
Facebook.com/Angela Bowley Portrait Artist. That's the easiest way to get a hold of her. And she can use these incredible gifts to basically see who is hanging out with you. Because there is somebody that's probably there. And they have
all the time.
Good, maybe not so good. You never know.
Oh.
I'm excited for my turn.
Now we have to go to. You have to go to Darren's house.
Oh my gosh, we do. We should do an investigation in your house, and she can draw.
Oh, great!
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah,
fabulous. Cool, I have an aunt that lives out in Arizona. She lives just outside of Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Go out there, Angela. Stay at Darren's house for a week. Draw away.
It's so scary though.
Road trip. Oh,
right.
Angela, thanks so much
for
joining us.
A long road trip from Ohio.
Seriously, right?
Bring snacks.
Oh, so Angela, thanks for joining us.
Viewing. You'll have to send me photos.
Okay.
See,
sounds
exactly.
good.
So we're all remote viewers. That is so cool. That's a rare gift to have. The remote viewing. And
Yeah,
that's something that just like popped up with me when I started doing this, like the investigations, like by accident.
That
So,
same
like-
with me. Same with me. I blame Rick. I had no idea that was anything I was doing. But I'm sure if we were doing it, but we didn't realize we were doing it. It was on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
But then when it's like played out, like when you're given an exact location, all of a sudden you go, "Oh, is that what I'm doing?" Yeah, like
it's crazy.
It's a trip.
Once
thank
again, you ladies hit it again.
Oh, bravo.
Booyah. And then our buddy Jordan there, he's
Hi, Jordan. I haven't seen him in a while.
I know, right? Had a little, Jordan's very
Interesting.
intuitive, so don't know.
I'm sure there is. That place was
Probably.
super busy.
It was very active.
Yeah, I'm sure, Jordan. Absolutely.
See,
So-
well, go ahead, Mr. Dedo.
No, I think you were going to say the exact same thing. I can't say it as eloquently as you. Go ahead. So, what did you expect tonight? Right?
See,
Did you get more than you bargained for?
Yes, I do. I've been dying to speak about this, but I always tell the story, but I was always afraid to go into it because it took me many years to get rid of the statue thing. It followed me for many years, and it would be active when I was like around somebody bad too. Not that it was helping me, but it was like almost feeding off the energy of somebody that was not so good, and it would whisper into my ear. It would yell into my, that feeling. Like I don't get that a lot, but I'll get that if somebody passes around me, they'll talk to me and let me know that they passed, or this thing that would come to me. But it knew how to get into my dreams. And what it would do was, this is another thing. Now I'm older. In my dreams, I was always being chased by this thing, but it always changed its face or whatever it was. So in the dream, I would get away from it. The one dream I remember is I got away from it. I called the police, and the police come to help me. And as I'm getting ready to wake up from the dream, the police officer looks at me, and it's the thing. It invaded his body, so it's still alive. But I'm leaving the dream, so it's still alive.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you still have that dream?
No. So now I meet, hey, Brent, I love you too. Now I meet my husband, my then boyfriend.
Oh.
It comes in my dreams, and it goes after my husband. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not. And I killed it.
Interesting. Oh, really?
I killed it in my dream, and that was it. But I never wanted to speak about this.
No kidding.
Oh, hey, Michael. I went back there once, but I didn't. I want to talk to the owner and see if they'll let me go in. And I want to tell them what happened, see if they had any experiences.
It's
Now,
like, sit down. I got a story for you.
Yeah. So now after this, I am going to make it a point to go see them. I'm going to knock on the door. I'm like, hello.
You
Hi.
should.
That would be interesting.
Now,
Certainly.
one last comment, just a little validation based off pictures. So apparently, our Emily there can do some remote viewing.
Ooh.
Jordan
That is
also does a
so
little bit of
cool.
that, so that's always nice to have a little extra help. In the time that we have remaining, though, April, tell everybody how they can find you, what you've got going on, all the deets.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Let's see. They can find me. They can go to my website, intuitiveapril.com. And also now I just switched my schedule. I'm on Paranormal Warehouse, which every other Tuesday. This Tuesday Tuesday won't be on. Next Tuesday I'll be on Paranormal Warehouse, where I do live readings from 8 to 9. So come see me. And then I'm all over the place. I don't know where am I going. I usually do events. I just did the Shanley Hotel. I did gallery readings, and then I led an investigation, a 5-hour investigation. So that's what I'm usually doing. I'm usually going somewhere on investigations, and
Busy.
I'm everywhere. I don't even know where I'm going next. I know I'm going to Pennsylvania in a couple weeks. I'm going to the Selma Mansion next month. Then I'm going to I know. I am going to be in Virginia at the Berkeley Plantation with Flamery Promotions. I'm going to be there with Natalie Jones.
Okay.
From Texas Paracon, and Michael Diamond, from one of the creators of Paranormal Warehouse.
Yes.
So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, we know him. Yeah.
Good old
So
Mike.
can we
Awesome.
follow you on Instagram to,
Oh
to,
yeah,
to
so it's
catch all
I'm
that?
Intuitive April on Instagram and Facebook. They suck. Sorry, but I had April Psychic Housewife as my name, but now I had to give them my license. They shut me down because they said that's not my real name. So I had to give my license with my real name. But I mean, we have stalkers. I have stalkers. So I'm like, all right, just give them my address.
That
Because I
sucks.
had somebody writing to me that sends me poems, and they said they wanted to come to my front steps, and I'm trying to explain this to Facebook, and
They don't care.
they wanted to die for me on my front steps. I'm like, well, great, now just give my address. So
That's just great.
I know. So, but now it's like my name, April Tricoli Bissett. But it's I think it's on the still. You can look on the Psychic Housewife, and you'll find me.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
April, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Maryam. Thank you
That was
so much.
great.
Thank you.
Finally
Yeah.
heard you guys. I'm so
Yeah.
To work with you again.
This was
Yes,
awesome.
definitely.
This is awesome.
Oh, thank
Hey,
you.
everybody, thanks for
Again.
joining us. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.